Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. As you can see before you, version 2.2 update just dropped for the test server. I want to give a huge shout out to the Anchor Panic dev team for giving me early access to this content, and everything that I show you guys today is subject to change when this version 2.2 drops on the global servers on April 15th. So please keep that in mind. But basically the purpose of today's video is to walk you through everything you can expect from this update, such as the brand new operators coming with this update, the brand new skins, the additional features, as well as a live showcase of what the operators do. So without further ado, let's begin. Now this is going to be an interesting update and might be I don't know how free-to-plays are going to react to this, because we are not getting one but two brand new operators in the form of Momiji, holy smokes, respectfully looking, as well as Crianca, oh my god, respectfully looking as best as I can. Yes, so we the last time we got a double banner was months ago, but I think this is a really smart move, because I think if Crianca had been released by herself, a lot of people would have skipped her, saving up more rate of tickets for Momiji. And to be frank, even if Momiji was released early, her best fire operator partner is going to be Crianca for the near term. So for this reason, I do approve of this double banner lineup, because mind you, you can always skip Crianca, have her go to the pity pool, and fail the pity on her down the road. So if you are a free-to-play player, now's your time to pick up Momiji next week when she drops. She is a limited time banner, and you will have 3 weeks to summon for her, as well as her signature sigil. Now for you brand new players out there, or maybe fairly you haven't been playing this game that long and you missed out on Frost Jade's first run, then you have a second chance now. This is her first rerun banner, and if you've watched my previous tier lists, you know that she's one of the most valuable operators to have on your account. Basically the cornerstone of any good ice element team. So yes, this is probably an excellent entry point for new players to try this game out if you are curious about the waifus and the story, and just kind of want to start off strong with a solid account. Yes, and what's really neat is that, speaking of new players, we are getting one of the most powerful tools for free-to-play players as well as new players, which is the targeted link as well as targeted sigil banners. Now this is a unique kind of banner that I've been able to enjoy as a free-to-play player on the JP server for a couple months, or 1 month now, and it has been very useful. It has allowed me to basically summon for operators that I missed out on, and I don't want to wait weeks or even months for their rerun. So essentially how this works is you click this right here, and you get to pick one operator who you really want to summon for. That's like the last missing piece in order to make your team click. And then, as you can see, it's basically all the rate-up operators that have been released in the past, as well as the original operators if you're still missing them. So you basically pick any one of these operators, and as it specifies here, at the weekly reset, after you select and lock in your choice, you cannot change your decision until the weekly reset, which is on Mondays, right? So for instance, if I am a brand new player, I summon for Frost Jade. Now I want the best ice defender in the game, Luna, to really solidify my PvP team. Then I will select Luna, click confirm, try to summon her from the tickets that I get from the main story, and then the following week I will select another operator like Ukali, and just do it smart, build your mono ice team, and if you want their signature sigils, you can do the same thing for their signature sigils. So this is really, really good. I don't know many games that actually allow you to do this. This is probably the first gacha game I've played which allows me to do this. So this is quite nice. This, I think, will be one of the reasons that players stay, because it all of a sudden, any team you want, any operator you want, you have a reasonable chance to get them. I think it only lags the newest release by maybe 2 or 3 updates, so quite good. Okay, and then also I want to speak of the event itself. So yeah, this update will come with a brand new chapter 12 for the main story, Luminous Crossroads 2. So we will learn more about what's going on in this universe, which is quite nice. And then, of course, we will have our 10-day login, as well as a reason to consume stamina, because whenever you consume stamina, you will get these Stellar Knights medals, which are tokens that you can exchange in the event shop for various valuable rewards, like summon tickets, resources to build your team, as well as ways to get more mind eggs, and hopefully get the SSR mind egg of your choice, and also limited time decorations. Yeah, so that's quite good there. And then, of course, it always comes with a mini game. So this is kind of like a pinball kind of game where it'll tell you who is coming next, and you basically drop these balls, and whenever the same ball matches and touches each other, it transforms into another one. So it's going to transform, and you just basically keep dropping until eventually the number of balls stack up and cross the dotted line, and then you get X amount of points. And you can kind of shake it up if you're coming dangerously close to the dotted line. You have 2 chances to kind of shake up the pinball and make the balls kind of combine and fuse and that sort of thing. So quite a fun mini game, I think, but a lot of clicking. Okay, and now let's talk about the skins, because holy smokes, this might be the most important part of the video if you decide to support the game, because all of my wishes have been granted. Okay, starting off with basically a Momiji skin. So this is going to be Momiji's Battle Pass skin, the Sakura Dream. So this, respectfully looking, is one of the best skins in the game. I think it was probably even her first skin, respectfully looking. And this is the illustration for it as well. This is the 2D art, and there is the 3D art. Respectfully looking, close on life support, but I approve. Yeah, so this is one of the skins that you can get for Momiji if you decide to support the game. And she does have a second skin, which is why my prayers were answered, and it's the skin that I was hoping they would come with. Now, Crianca will also get her own skin, and I think she has 2 skins. And this was the more recent skin released for the CN server. I think the CN server didn't even get this pink patisserie skin for a week before it was censored heavily. But for us, we don't have to worry about that. So we can respectfully look for as long as we want. And yes, as you can see here, this is a very spicy skin for a very spicy waifu. And you have various different alternate versions as well. Yes, and then other stockings if you so choose. And here is the illustration. So this is the 2D art, as you can see, and this kind of suggests what the animations will be like if you decide to support the game. And here is the animated version of the skin. Holy smokes, I don't know what happened here, but I approve as well. So yes, if you decide to support the game, then these are some very spicy skins. Now there is one more skin which I'm not sure if they will include here. Most likely they will. Yeah, I think it's missing here, but usually there will be a way for you to support the game and pick up an additional skin if you want your Momiji to look different from other players. And can you guess what it is? Drum roll, please. It is the one I wanted. Yes, that is right. Even though this is technically Momiji's 3rd skin and the latest skin that was released a couple months ago for the CN server, we don't have to wait a year for this. We're getting this skin next week. if you decide to support the game. So obviously this is very good news for me. And then this is the illustration, respectfully looking. And then here's the, oh, okay. Well, animated version, you can check my other video. I think I was able to access the animated version on the JP server. Okay, so now that we've gone over the important parts, let's go over what these operators actually do. So Momiji, she is a fire striker who does heavy single target as well as AoE damage, and is even able to do damage on the enemies during their turn. Now, how does she do so? Well, beginning with her talent 1, Momiji gains 1 stack of Foxfire after an ally acts, maximum 10 stacks. So the thing is, if you get Momiji's signature sigil, you do start with 6 Foxfire stacks, and that means that after your 4 allies act, then she will enter the Foxfire Curse release state, in which she cleanses herself of crowd control and immediately uses a Crimson Flash on all enemies. This is basically an AoE damaging move that she releases against all enemy targets whenever she enters this special form. And once she is in this Foxfire Curse release form, instead of gaining Foxfire stacks, she will start consuming 2 Foxfire stacks at a time whenever any operator on the battlefield moves, whether it be the enemies or your operators. So yes, whenever the enemy moves, you are also doing damage in retaliation back onto them. So that is quite nice. And so, as you can imagine, she will do the Blazing End AoE damage 5 times before all 10 Foxfire stacks are consumed and she exits this state. And mind you, every time she does that Blazing End move, she will do additional damage to the primary target, which scales off of the number of burn stacks times 7%. So you can do massive damage against the primary target. So this really incentivizes you to have burn basically as many fire operators as you can, because you want to get up to 10 burn stacks as quickly as possible to get an additional 70% damage. And then for her talent 2, each time Momiji consumes intention, she gains 1 stack of discernment. Now, I think intention, let me just skip over to signature sigil real quick. Okay, yeah, I think intention might be the Foxfire. Yeah, so every time she consumes a 2 Foxfire, she gains 1 discernment. This is my interpretation, okay, because I don't see anywhere else in her kit how to get intention. And this is a permanent stack in which each stack increases her fire damage by 6% and defense penetration by 60, is not removed upon death, lasts until the battle ends, max 6 stacks. So yes, she can get up to 36% fire damage and up to 360 defense penetration from her talent 2. While discernment exists, her Blazing End applies severe wound to the target, reducing the amount of healing and shielding they receive by 8%, lasting 2 turns up to 5 stacks. So this is very important. At max discernment stacks, Blazing End additionally applies the Scorch Blight to the primary target. It will be a very prominent debuff that looks like a shield with an X through it, in which the target cannot gain a shield lasting 2 turns. This has both PvP and PvE implications. Now, her basic attack and skills are, just generic attacks. Now, her skill is one of the better skills out there, being able to hit the front row, so that's kind of nice. And then for her AoE move, it's a very simple move, but it really emphasizes the importance of activating the fire homology, because without it, you cannot apply the burn stacks. Yes, so as you can see here, her energy burst the damage to the primary target will increase by up to 100% if the enemy primary target is at the 10 burn stacks. So that's something to keep in mind. Now for her ascension, this is a very powerful ascension because if you get her ascension 3 or her ascension 6, when she enters the Foxfire Curse release state, the Blazing End, which is the AoE attack, whenever the enemy or allies move, she will do the Blazing End. Instead of consuming 2 Foxfire stacks, she only consumes 1. This allows her to stay in the curse state twice as long and obviously improve her damage output. And when receiving fatal damage in the state, she survives at 1 HP until the start of her next turn. Does not consume Foxfire under this effect, continues triggering Blazing End with 80% damage inheritance, immune to control effects, but healing and shield effects received reduced by 60%, only triggers once per battle. Yes, and I believe at Ascension 6, yeah, okay, so very good, survives until, okay, I could have sworn I read something else, but maybe that's later. Okay, now her Stellaron, this is one of the best offensive Stellarons in the game. It's essentially like Newcastle plus more good stuff put together, because if you go on the left side, you get attack, defense penetration, speed, damage boost. And if you go to the right after the HP, you get fire damage, crit rate, and crit damage. So pretty much every offensive buff you want, damage boost, fire damage, defense penetration, crit rate, crit damage, Momiji has. So at high investment, she ends up doing very high amounts of damage. Now her signature sigil grants fire damage, grants crit damage, and let me go to the regular 1 copy version because it's still quite good. Yeah, so 6.6% fire damage, 14% crit damage when equipped by Momiji, increased damage to shielded targets by 7.5%. At the start of battle, she gains 6 stacks of Foxfire, like I mentioned previously. When consuming Foxfire, she has a 64% chance to gain 1 additional stack of Discernment. So this allows you to get those permanent fire damage and defense penetration boosts faster, along with being able to decrease their healing, their shielding gain, and even apply that shield block as soon as possible. And upon exiting the spirit form state, Momiji immediately gains 2 Foxfire stacks plus additional stacks equal to the number of fallen units on the battlefield. So let's say you KO'd 4 enemy targets on the enemy side, which is often the case in, say, like Union Siege. Then she will start off with 2 plus an additional 4, 6 Foxfire stacks when she exits the spirit form while equipped with this sigil. And mind you, this applies to your fallen allies as well. So yeah, this is quite good. Yes. Okay, so now let's go over if I can find her. Yes, let's go over Crianca. So Crianca is a fire defender, the first defender for the fire element. Technically, we have a pseudo defender in the form of Quasar, but this is the first true defender. Opposite front row, so very unique targeting there. And this is going to be important when it comes to repositioning the enemies and applying specific debuffs on the targets that you want. Now, her talent 1, Burning Echo. At the start of battle, Crianca applies Reignite to herself, the lowest HP ally, and the highest attack ally, in which, while having the Reignite buff, they gain a shield equal to 14% of their max HP, plus 3 instances of damage reflection, as well as 3 instances of debuff immunity. Now this allows those 3 operators, Crianca as well as the 2 allies, to basically cleanse the first 3 forms of like freeze, electroband, whatever debuffs the opponent tries to stick onto you, as well as doing reflect damage, which has a damage reflection has 20% coefficient. I don't know what that means. This damage bypasses shields but cannot exceed 14% of Crianca's max HP. Yeah, so an opponent who is on the brink of being KO'd cannot hide behind a shield with this reflect damage. So that's quite nice. And she scales off of HP, so keep that in mind. Now for her talent 2, within the same turn, Crianca applies flame to enemies that attack her. Gains 1 stack per attack instance received, max 4 stacks. When Crianca or allies with reignite, so it must be her or those 2 chosen allies, are attacked by enemies with the flame debuff, damage taken reduces by the enemy's flame stacks times 2%. I think this especially punishes AoE damage dealers who will for sure hit Crianca and thus have the flame debuff applied to her. Yes, so this is a way to improve the survivability of your allies. Not as broken as Luna's barrier, however, I do think that this is interesting, being able to reduce the enemy damage. Now, basic attack and skills are, single target moves. The AoE damaging move. This is fire damage to all enemies. The final hit applies 1 stack of burn. So this is just a way to accelerate burn application a bit more. Additionally, Crianca pulls the enemy with the most flame stacks to the front row in the same column as Crianca, so basically facing her, and the target will take 10% increased damage for 2 turns. This makes Crianca the first defender who actually boosts the damage output of your party. So that's pretty noteworthy. If there's another enemy in this position, it will swap the place with the pulled target. So this is quite nice. You can actually run Crianca with Momiji on Entropy Cataclysm as an example. Okay, now her ascensions. Ascension 3, when Crianca receives fatal damage, clears all negative effects, restores 15% of max HP, and enters ignition state for 1 turn. In this state, she won't die and will gain reignite. Now, there is a neat trick where with heavy investment you can actually make Crianca live forever, and the way you do that is because typically when you enter the ignition state, so with her talent 1, I should probably emphasize this ignition state that she applies on herself as well as the 2 other allies, it only lasts for 2 turns. After that, your allies will lose it, your Crianca will lose it unless you have her signature sigil. Now, the Ascensions is one way to get the ignition state back onto Crianca, and so long as she's in the ignition state, she won't die. So she essentially becomes immortal for 2 more turns. However, if you have her signature sigil max duped, this allows you to have 100% chance to apply the reignite to herself, which means she will never die because she, unless there's a way to remove the ignition state on an opposing, like let's say the opponent can remove this buff from Crianca, otherwise she cannot die. So that's kind of interesting. And even if you are not a whale and you only get 1 copy of her signature sigil, you have 2 chances to have a 70% chance to reapply ignition onto herself whenever she releases an energy burst. I guess technically 1 time, and unless she energy bursts twice in a row. So there is a reasonable chance that at Ascension 3, 1 copy of her signature sigil, she can prolong her survivability even longer with some good RNG. So just wanted to emphasize the synergy there in case you plan to run her in PvP. Yes, and then her Ascension 6 is actually not as important as her Ascension 3. All it does is it makes it so she starts off with 50% HP instead of 15%. However, the implication here is that by restoring automatically to 50%, this does give her pre-filled energy to essentially energy burst right away. So I guess that is the reason why this kind of matters. But anyways, going back to the signature sigil now, base HP 18%, reduces crit damage taken by 17%. This is the first time we actually have a crit damage reduction for the wielder of the sigil. At first, I was thinking this was a terrible sigil, but I think in PvP this could be quite relevant. And in PvE, when the enemy crits on you, it hurts a lot. So this could matter. And as I mentioned before, her energy burst has a 70% chance to apply reignition onto herself, the ally with the lowest HP, and the ally with the highest attack. Oh, I didn't know it applied to all three of them. So that's pretty good. And increases reignites damage reflection instances to 4. Interesting. Okay, so that's an extra stack of damage reflection. I think Kwa Sensei was saying that the damage reflection is actually quite painful, but we'll have to see. But one thing is for sure, you do want to stack her with as much HP as humanly possible. Okay. Now that we've talked about both of these operators, let's go ahead and do a live showcase. So I'm going to go to the final boss of the previous chapter. That way the boss doesn't get one-shotted. And I originally was running Grenache, but the battle ended too quickly. It lasted only 2 turns. So I'll go ahead and take her out, and we'll just run these two. Okay, so let's get right to it. Okay, so I'm gonna slow this down, that way I have time to talk. Okay, so she starts first, does that move? Okay, now why are we doing this already? I think it's because she's max ascended and max duped. Yeah, she's already in her Foxfire state. And now she's consuming 2 Foxfires while in the cursed state. Actually, technically she's only removing 1 because she's A6. And so every time the enemy moves, she retaliates, right? Yeah, so she's going to retaliate again. Yeah, and as you can see here, Crianca is quite tanky. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and attack. And we've already applied the preventing the shield from being applied onto the enemy. Okay, so now Crianca is going to do her... Oh my god, respectfully looking. Actually, that was kind of impossible to respectfully look, but... Oh my god, my cursor was blocking, but it's okay. Yes. Okay, I already forgot what the energy burst does. That's how OP that animation was. Okay, guys, can you remind me what... oh no, Crianca died there. Yeah. Alright. So anyways, that's the showcase there. Her energy burst... I forgot what the energy burst is. I lost all my words. No words to describe the beauty of that. So anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I hope you found this informative. If I overlooked anything or if there's any questions that you have, feel free to leave it in the comment section below and I'd be happy to answer. And let me know in the comment section below too whether you are going to summon for Momiji, maybe go all the way and even summon for Crianca, or maybe you're going to skip both. For me personally, I'm going to snag both of these operators. I think these are going to be the 2 best fire operators to date and give us an additional really solid DPS to run for PvE and PvP. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.